What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Cyber Ren. How are you?
Feeling like I'm in the inside.
Yes, you are. Hannah's actually out. She's visiting Iceland actually right now.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's a trip to be envious of.
I know, right?
Wow.
So it's kind of weird because my boss at work, our CEO, he went to Iceland last year. It's like,
oh, really?
Yeah. It's
wow.
Weird. A couple of people I work with have been going there, but
yeah.
She's I'm eager to hear. She comes back, I think this weekend, so I'm eager to hear how that went.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
it could look like Empire Strikes Back, Hoth, basically, where she is.
I know. But Iceland's actually, I mean, this time of year, it is cold there, I believe, obviously, but like normally Iceland is the greener one and Greenland's the icy one, right? So
yeah.
You know, I heard Iceland's is gorgeous, so yeah,
I know.
We'll get a download on next week's episode. But
it's a part of the world that still looks like it's thousands of years ago.
Oh,
it's just
okay.
Cool. Yeah. The scenery is spectacular. I would love to go there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stepping in.
Anytime,
last minute
man.
here. I wasn't sure if I was going to do an episode or not. But this is good because we've got some things to talk about finally. You know, me and Hannah have been trying to get some topics going the last few weeks because it's just kind of been, dead as far as Star Wars news goes.
Yeah,
of course, Star Wars Celebration is still a couple months away, which basically will happen right around the time Andor debuts.
Mm-hmm.
April 22nd is when we're going to get now. And also we got the release schedule for this. Not only did we get a trailer the other day, we also got the release schedule, which we'll talk about. And of course that kind of goes hand in hand with how we're going to do the Mandalore podcast as well. So we'll have to work out those details, but as always, first and foremost, want to thank our patrons for Inside the Force. Appreciate you all. I did a kind of a trailer breakdown for our master patrons on there. Really, well, I won't talk about it yet, but of course, thanks always for the support. Our buddy Thrawn, who actually he's been commenting, I know, on Mandalore as well.
Yeah.
But our last episode, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it yet.
I did.
Oh, okay. So we talked about the whole recasting issue, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thrawn on there says, I know there's not much news, but at the moment, but still enjoy the both of you discussing random things Star Wars. Yes, thank you, sir. Because I'm in two minds in regard to recasting. He said, I understand that they may need to recast if an actor passes away or has a contract dispute, so they might have to recast because the character is vital to the story they are telling. But I do think they should iconic characters like Han, Leia, Luke, Anakin, Obi-Wan alone, if possible. Unless they're doing an origin story type and the character needs to be a lot younger, like in the Star Wars movie. That I also understand. Could you imagine the uproar if they rebooted the original trilogy? I can't see that happening anytime soon because they would have to throw all their canon out the window, but never say never. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they are redoing the Harry Potter series. It doesn't feel that long to me since the movies ended. I know the series will cover a lot more of the books, but I love the movies and don't know how I'm going to watch other actors play all these great characters. Thanks again, David Hannah. May the Force be with you. So where are you at on recasting?
Well, it's kind of funny how it works out that I'm here to get to discuss it because I was going to leave you guys a really long message on that video.
There you go.
Because you and me have discussed it. We discussed it. I think we discussed it twice on Mandalore and on Inside the Force long time. Or it was one of our council sessions topics, actually, I believe.
Yes.
About recasting Luke. So a lot of time has gone by. I've had a lot of wavering thoughts about where I would go. And I think because we love Han, Luke, and Leia so much, and we love the actors that played them so much, there is still so much story that could be told with them. What happened after Return of the Jedi leading up to Force Awakens? There's so many years there, and so much could have happened to these characters, and I want to see that. So how do you make that happen? You can't use the same actors. We've already lost Carrie Fisher. Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill are way too old to play the parts now. And we saw what they did in Mandalorian. They got somebody that looked close enough, and then they used deep fake technology to kind of heighten it. But it wasn't perfect. And that technology still is not perfect. So could they do a movie or trilogy of movies using that technology and make it realistic enough to be believable? I don't think so. I don't think they're there yet. So where I'm standing right now is I feel like I would be okay if they recast them, but it absolutely has to be a lookalike, like Sebastian Stan that can look very close to Luke, like Carrie Fisher's daughter that can look very close to her, like we saw already in the flashback scene. Mm-hmm. So where do you find someone that looks close enough to Harrison Ford? Well, we've talked about it. The guy that played the younger version of himself, not the one in Solo, because he's not, I didn't want Aldrin. I wanted the young guy who was in Age of Adeline, who played young Harrison Ford, because he looks exactly like Harrison Ford did when he was younger.
Yeah.
So recast, yes, only a big stipulation, they have to be lookalikes so that the person looks close enough like them that they only have to use a little bit of deep fake technology to just enhance what's already there. Then I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would work. I think it has to be about the likeness though. But the thing about it is you get, then it becomes the likeness is one thing, and to do it like with Luke in Mandalorian, where it's just one scene, it is tougher when you have a whole series or whole movie, because then it actually becomes the personality then of the character, right? Can that actor redo the personality, right?
Yeah.
That's where it becomes like, okay, well, that looks like Han Solo, but he doesn't act like Han Solo, so
right. So
it's very difficult, period. It's very difficult.
But you guys mentioned we're going to get Baylan Skoll as being recast in Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah.
So
that actor, and again, that's not a major character, so it's one season of a character, and
still,
it again, I think that the idea comes like if they were to, maybe you can do this. Maybe they do maybe I mentioned this on there, but like a live action Clone Wars series. Mm-hmm. And they don't cast Hayden and Ewan to play Obi-Wan and Anakin. Would be okay with that? I don't think I would be okay with that.
I don't think so. Those guys are young enough; they could still do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay. Kamara Jade also, who comments, I think, on Mandalore as well. So appreciate that, Kamara. She says, I keep meaning to leave comments most weeks, but I tend to listen to my podcast in spurts and forget to. My comment was when I'm done. So backtracking. What I always got from the Jedi Order and the prequels when it came to attachments is basically that Yoda was basically what Yoda was implying. It isn't bad to have attachments, to feel those feelings. It's a problem when you fear losing them. The access to powers to try and stop losing those attachments is always going to be something from the dark side. And that's the crux of Anakin's fall. His flaw isn't loving Padme, it's the fear of losing her. Mm-hmm. The Order basically cut out the middleman by saying no attachments instead of taking the harder route of tackling the fear issue. And that's where I'd say they were wrong on it. And no, that's very well said. I think that's
good.
Very well said. I think it's always about the fear. Fear is in episode 1. It took a long time to hear Yoda say that because, he did say it to Luke in a sense. He was talking about, fear and not giving into that. But, he laid it out more so to young Anakin when he said, fear of losing your mother, like that is the start of basically the dark side. Fear leads to
fear
anger.
Leads to hate.
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. It's like,
it's
all about controlling that fear.
Yeah.
And that's, I do wish, I do wish at some point that the Jedi, I don't know, they were able to somehow teach about controlling that fear and still allowing for that attachment in some senses, but
Well, and I like where you guys went with your conversation is that maybe the hopes are with Rey's future storytelling that's coming. Maybe she already acknowledged that and she can find that
Right.
was the mistakes in the past. So whatever Jedi Order she's building, it's going to include love and compassion and being able to care for people. Just don't have the fear of losing them. That is part of life, and there's a chance you'll lose someone, but you can still love someone. I think going forward, the Jedi have to change. It can't be the same old, because people are getting tired of some of this stuff. So they do have to change and put the Jedi in a positive light again, but in a new direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks all for those comments.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Andor season 2 trailer.
Okay.
So dropped the other day, a couple days ago.
It did.
And I've watched it a ton. And it's pretty short. It's only 1:30. It's not very long. Not a lot of dialogue. Just a lot of action and interesting soundtrack that they put onto it. What was your first impression when you saw this thing?
That was the first thought. What is this music they're using? Exactly the same thing they used for Skeleton Crew. We were just like, what is going on here? Star Wars has been modernized to Earth-like music. And that was the first thing that, my partner, Elisa Tano, she's like, what's this song? This isn't Star Wars. And this has come from that's not as hardcore as we are. And she's going, this isn't Star Wars. So that's my initial hit. It's not bad. It's not negative because the song they chose actually fit everything that we were watching. Mm-hmm. Like if you listen to the lyrics were matching the scenes that they were showing on screen. So the song worked for the trailer. Yeah. It wasn't Star Wars music, but it still worked. So that really left me going, that was fun. And that makes it look really good. And I wonder if that's the angle they're trying to take. They're trying to take Star Wars into a new direction to make it even more broadly accepted to an audience that maybe doesn't watch Star Wars. They might watch that and go, whoa, I didn't know Star Wars is so fun and exciting and full of rock and roll. Like it might bring in new people. So that's kind of where my initial thoughts landed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To be honest, I think I have a tendency when I'm excited about a trailer and I sit down because most of the time, I'd say almost 9 out of 10 times, I see it when I'm on Twitter or X, right? Yeah. I'll be scrolling news and seeing stuff, and I'll be like, oh, there it is. And sometimes depending on where I'm at, I'll watch it right away, or I will run to my computer and watch it, on a bigger screen.
Yeah, yeah.
This time I happened to have to watch it on my phone real fast, first time.
Me too. Phone first time, and then came rushing home to watch it in the theater.
So when it's like that though, and I'm so excited for it, I get lost more in the imagery than I do the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And I was just like into like the shots, and I wanted to see it and feel it, and I was paying attention to like, what am I seeing? Like, where's happening? Where's this at? Yeah. And it really wasn't until towards the end I was like, actually, this is not Star Wars music, And then I watched it again, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So for me, I was taken aback about how beautiful this thing looks. I mean, this is so well shot.
Oh my gosh.
Which puts it up there, obviously, to be, the best series, best, I think best series that they've done.
Well, they make sure you remember that with all the hits of words, the text on the screen between every shot. They're letting you know best Star Wars series ever done, most cinematic, most best written story, whatever they were saying.
That's right. That's right.
But let me just add to the whole thing with the music, because music, I think, goes hand in hand with Star Wars. Like it's the most iconic soundtrack in cinema history, you could argue, along with the Indiana Jones and different things like that. But when I watch something, for me, that if it has a good soundtrack, the soundtrack adds to what you're feeling.
Of course.
of what you're watching. Yes, I get sucked into the visuals as well, but if the soundtrack is good, it enhances and heightens everything I'm watching. If the soundtrack sucks, if it doesn't match what you're watching, it can take you out of it just as fast.
Right.
You know, if they have like drums hitting at the worst up time, and then they're like, what? And anyway, so because this music was so different, like I said, it's such a mixed feeling. It's like, this isn't Star Wars music, but it perfectly fits what I'm watching. So I was like, yeah, this is great. This is so much fun. It's not Star Wars. This is so much fun. It's not Star Wars. So that's how I was feeling when I was watching it. But
right, yeah. So what's your take though? Did you like it or not?
Oh yeah. Oh, it excited me. Just watching. I'm like, it looks like we're gonna watch 3 6-hour movies.
4
6-hour movies. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, 3 episodes per.
Well, it's 3 episodes.
Arc,
so it's four feature-length movies. Basically, is what we're getting. I think
it looks insane.
They're probably 30 to 40-minute episodes, I would assume.
The quality is there, even just in these shots. And I think my favorite shot was you're looking out from a tunnel outside, and you see the 2 X-wings and I think a Y-wing, and they just slowly take off, turn towards the camera, and lift off. I was like, oh, that is so gorgeous.
I know.
That was beautiful. Like that was actually happening. That didn't look like any effects of any kind.
Right.
Like, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, it all looks very practical.
Yeah.
You know, some great moments in there. You know, I will point out a couple things that I was excited about. Mainly, I think, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I believe the planet that we see kind of towards the beginning, where he's, you know, running through what looks like a wheat field.
Yes. What planet could that be? It reminded me of the opening of Rebels.
I think it's Lothal.
Lothal. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Thank you.
I know. I think it is, because I think he's flying in I believe it's a TIE Striker, and he's blowing up that tank, that transport.
Yeah.
And the TIE Striker, I believe, my memory's a little off on the Rebels timeline, but during the Rebels timeline is when Thrawn was creating the TIE Striker.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I believe this is kind of a little bit of a hint to that. So I think it's possible we may see, live action version of Lothal, and
it looks like it. I mean, that shot with the stormtroopers, the buildings behind them, it just looks very familiar.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how awesome would it be if we got live action Rebels in this?
Oh my gosh.
Like he hooks up with, Hera there at Lothal, or Sabine.
How young would they be though in this time?
Because it's the same timeline.
It's exact same timeline. Okay.
Exact same timeline.
Oh yeah, because they're building the Rebels. They're building the Alliance at this time.
Yeah, Rebels starts 5 years before Episode 4.
You're right.
So
you're right.
It'd be the same timeline.
Gosh, that would be so cool. I mean, they're already alive. We already saw them all.
Oh yeah, they're on Lothal and they're fighting the Empire. So it's like, just makes sense.
Oh my god.
What's the one person we haven't seen yet in live action? We haven't seen a live action Kanan.
We have not.
We've seen everybody else.
And that's a good way to bring Kanan back.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, Vizsla. Would they be keeping that secret? Because do we know from...
I know, that's the hard part, is like there's no mention of that ever.
And in Rebels, was there ever any connection to Rogue One or any of that storyline?
Yeah. They connected with Mothma. They connected with Leia. I mean, Leia was in the second season, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of crossover. Tarkin was there, obviously, I mean,
Yep.
Even Vader was there, but
very true.
It's probably one of the things where, I mean, what it seems like to me, obviously everybody should know by now because we've talked about it, but we're getting 4 3-episode stories basically. And each 3-episode arc is separated by a big time jump.
A year in between each one, roughly.
Well,
right?
it may be a year. It just happens. It happens during like during 4 years before episode 4 is the first 3 episodes. Now it doesn't span over but what I'm saying is like it could happen at the end of that year and then the beginning of so it might only be a couple months possibly.
True. I guess it depends probably when in the year we're filming or we're watching. Yeah.
It's probably, I would say probably 6 to 10 months apart, and then we're looking at 3 years before, 2 years before, and then about leading up to Rogue One.
Okay.
So I think it's just a matter of time because, one of the first shots where we see Andor walking forward, that's Yavin, obviously.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, so we get to Yavin, obviously, towards the end of this has to be towards the end of the last 5 or 6 episodes, I think.
I think this, because in the opening shot, we see him walking towards us, walking away, towards us, away, and each shot is a different walk. He's wearing a different outfit. He's in a different location. Yes. So I bet you they just gave us clips from every time period, every year.
That's probably right. Right. Yep. And so I really think these 4 arcs that we're going to get, right now my prediction pretty much is, because this is a lot of time. There's 4 years here.
Yeah.
It's odd that they're grabbing, one story out of each, basically. Because I want, God, I wish we had a season a whole season was 1 year. And then
1 year. Because, man, 12, and wasn't that the original plan? Like, why did they change that?
I think it was.
When this is their best show they have, why would they change it and cut it short?
I know. It sucks. But I think what we're getting is whatever it is, we're getting the most significant, I guess, impact on Cassian's life during these times. That's the only thing I could think, because he's the lead. The series is named after him.
Yeah.
These are the particular things we need to know about him as we get to Rogue One. So,
right.
But you still have other characters like Mon Mothma going. Here you have Saul Guerrera. They're bringing in Krennic that we know from Rogue One.
Yeah.
We see K2, so that means we're going to get his. That's a significant part of it.
That's what else I was excited about. As soon as I saw K2 Gastel's face, I was like, yes, there he is. Good.
Yeah. So I think I'm pumped. I'm so stoked for the series. This weekend, me and my daughter, and my wife hasn't watched the first season yet, so we're going to rewatch it with her, and get reinvigorated to get ready for this season 2. So
we're rewatching it too.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the purpose of the trailer too, because if this first season of Andor had anything to knock on it, from what I heard from a lot of people, is that it was slow. It was a little bit slow compared to what they're used to from Star Wars. And it took a long time for things to build up. And this trailer basically is showing you, we're not slowing down this time.
No, this is going to be battle after battle after battle.
Yeah. I
don't think there's going to be a lot of talking in this thing. I think it's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of death.
Yeah. Did you catch Mon Mothma in the trailer anywhere?
She was the one. Like that was her party they were dancing at, and there was a shot of her.
Yeah, but not much. Like you said,
it's
a very, very fast trailer.
It is. Yeah, it's very fast.
But anticipating all the action, just crazy.
We'll get another trailer probably a month from now, leading up to a month before.
Right. Oh yeah, there she is. And then we also got a lot of Saw Gerrera. He was more in the trailer than anybody.
Yeah, I know. Well, he plays a big part, in
the rebellion,
leading up to episode 4, and I think we're gonna see, like in Rogue One, all we get in Rogue One that there's ideological differences between what Saul wants to do and what Mothma wants to do.
Right.
So I think we're definitely going to see that dynamic and kind of that fall from Saul and why he's not fully. He's doing his own rebellion, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, where he doesn't exactly follow the ways that they want him to do it.
Well, they're trying to do it diplomatically, and
he gets aggressive.
He's just flat out killing people.
Yeah.
Without thinking twice.
Yeah.
So, but Andor, that's the thing. You saw him walking away and just blowing up that building. I mean, like he's doing some bad things.
Yeah, he is.
So,
but all our characters are returning. Cyril is there. He comes running out and he's wearing some kind of, I don't know what that is, like a professor's outfit or something.
I mean, looks like some officer type or yeah.
Yeah. And then, why can't I remember her name? My favorite character from the first season.
Bix, right?
No, not Bix. No, the lead bad girl.
Oh, Deidre.
Yes. There's only one quick clip of her, but I'm like, God, at least she's in it.
Yeah, so she's in it.
Hopefully she's got a big part.
Yeah, and then Lutherans in there, obviously.
Yep. Luthen Riel, yeah.
Luthen Riel, and then his Brasso, his buddies, got a shot in there.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's back, it seems like.
Which is good. You got to kind of tie off their stories, whether they're in it for a long time or not, yeah.
Didn't see Andy Serkis' character, so I don't know if he made it or not.
Because he got left on the prison, right?
Yeah.
So we have no idea if he got out.
He wasn't able to jump, so.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're going to hang on to at least one surprise, and that'd be cool to see him pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It could be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, April 22nd. April 22nd now, they are dropping 3 episodes. The first 3 episode arc.
Oh, nice.
Is dropping.
Okay.
So they are, this is not going to be where we have to wait 4 weeks or once a week to get an episode.
Yeah.
This thing's not going to last 12 weeks. This thing's only going to last 4 weeks.
It's going to be so fast. I mean, 3 episodes a week, but
3 episodes a week. So that means April 22nd, April 29th, May 6th. That means this series basically wraps May 13th.
And then
now think about that, because we were kind of under the impression that, okay, well, we're going to have Star Wars for 3 months.
Yeah.
We're only going to have it for a month.
I know.
And then we don't even know what's coming after that. There's nothing planned that we know of.
Nothing's been announced. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think no, there wasn't anything. Was there? Is there Visions? I think there's a Visions coming, right? There's third season of Visions.
Yeah, well, I'm not paying attention to that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure.
But I don't think there's a release date yet for that. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think hopefully at Celebration, when this thing debuts, there'll be some announcements.
Maybe
there's
something
animated series that might pop out later this year, but who knows?
Yeah. Asajj Ventress, come on.
I know, man. I know.
That's all I
4
want.
months. I mean, 4 weeks. That's it. Then we're
like, why are they doing
episodes? It is 12 episodes. Well, I actually think it's really smart. I think it's smart to, if it's a conjoined story, basically one movie.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me think, like, then I wonder why you even break it up into 3 episodes and just not release a movie.
Just play it as a movie, exactly.
Play it as a full-length movie.
Because we're all going to watch all 3 in a row.
Absolutely.
And I don't need the previously on in between each part.
Yeah. It's not it's not just sit down and watch it for 40 minutes. It's get the big thing of popcorn and sit down and for, almost 2 hours. Hopefully I'll watch this. So interesting release for that. That'll be a lot of discussions, a lot of discussions to have in that week.
Yeah.
Because normally I'm watching 1 episode getting ready. Now I'm watching 3 episodes a couple times to get ready. So it's like that's a lot of
viewing. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of viewing. And again, these things may be 50-minute. Well, I mean, if they're 50-minute episodes, you're talking about a long time.
They better be. They better not be 20-minute little shorts to make a 60-minute episode.
That's true. That's true. That would kind of get to me a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, so more to come on that. Obviously, there'll be more spots and trailers and stuff coming. So
it's not
talk
far away
about those as those come. I saw an interesting poster. I don't know if you saw it. They released the 20th anniversary of Episode 3.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is going to come back into theaters here as well. Here soon. I think it's in May. Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to see that. I haven't seen Episode 3 in a theater since 20 years ago. So
Since it came out, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be happy to go back and watch that. One of my favorites. And these the posters that they've been putting out have been incredible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the best of the prequels anyway, that third one. So
totally.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so before we get into Kathleen Kennedy, just some releases to be aware of on the publishing side.
Yeah.
So this past week, actually, the most anticipated book that I've had this year, Reign of the Empire, just came out by Alexander Freed. I started listening to it yesterday, so I am in it.
It's available audiobook form already?
Yes.
Reign of the Empire. And what's the time period of that book again? Just refresh everybody.
So this is a trilogy, and it's going to cover, I think, the time period between episode 3 and 4. This takes place right after episode 3, pretty much.
Okay.
But this is the point of view of Saw Gerrera, Bail Organa, and Mon Mothma.
Wow.
On how they're going to, stand up to the Empire and lay the groundwork of getting this started. So I believe this is going to pretty much lead up to where we get into Andor, this trilogy of books. So
okay. Jeez.
I can't wait, man. I'm really interested in on the political side, actually, of how the Senate stayed together and why the Emperor kept the Senate together all this time, because he had resistance in there for so long. But I'm interested how they fought that political war, before they actually got together. Because it took them a long time. It took almost 17 years before they actually signed an alliance and formed the alliance, the Rebel Alliance. So they were operating just separately for years. So I'm interested in that. I can't wait to dive into that.
It'll be interesting. Is it called Star Wars Mask of Fear, The Reign of the Empire?
Yeah, the first book is called Mask of Fear. It's Reign of the Empire trilogy, but Mask of Fear
is the first book. All right.
Yes.
I am downloading it right now.
Sweet. Yeah, it's cool. Mark Thompson doesn't voice it. It's January Lavoie, who's actually really good too. She does really good books.
Okay. But I don't know if I've heard one from her yet.
I think this one's primarily a Mon Mothma. I think that's why they had a female voice.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it, but
cool.
But it's good. It's good. Let's see. May 6th, The Acolyte has a novel coming out called Wayseeker.
Yep.
And then June 17th, Trials of the Jedi by Charles Soule, The High Republic. That's when the High Republic finally comes to an end as far as these 3 phases.
What do you think the interest is going to be in that Acolyte novel with how unsuccessful the series was?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very high, unfortunately. Because it's too far. Like if it would have came out like right after the series, maybe, but it's been a while now. So,
right.
And then of course the new book that was just announced August 5th would be the Bad Batch novel called Sanctuary.
That one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that comes out August 5th. Comics, not a lot of comic series right now. They're gearing up for some more releases, but The Rise of Skywalker, actually, the comic adaptation has finally come out.
Why so long later? What the?
Yeah, they pulled it for some reason. I think I don't know why. It was ready to be released, but then they pulled it, and now it's coming back. So I'm interested in actually reading it, seeing if there's any differences, but.
Well, is there usually with adaptations, do they add more to it that we don't get in the films?
It's like deleted scenes are in there and stuff like that may have been deleted, okay. So it's it has a little bit of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Next week, the Jedi Knights series comes out and starts. Number 1 will hit next week. Legacy of Vader, number 2, March 12th, and then The Rise of Skywalker at the end of March. So not a lot of comics right now slated for right now. There's definitely kicking up more here soon.
Yeah. Still lots coming though.
Yeah, lots coming.
Yeah.
Okay, the other big announcement, because I didn't think we were going to really get into anything besides the trailer, but it's been reported, not confirmed by Lucasfilm or anything like that, but it has hit the trades and everybody's talking about it, so it's pretty much confirmed. It looks like Kathleen Kennedy, who has been the president at Lucasfilm for the past, I want to say it was 13 years. It's been 13 years, maybe.
That's what I think I saw, yeah.
She is stepping down by the end of this year. We've kind of heard this news before several times that she was leaving.
Yeah.
I believe she only was planning to be the president. I think she only initially signed like a 5 or 6 year deal. So she's definitely lasted twice as long as expected. Mm-hmm. And people got to remember she was brought on before the actual buyout happened by Disney. George had originally hired her to run Lucasfilm while he was going to probably go on and start doing his own 7, 8, and 9. But then the whole conversation happened with Bob Iger at Disney, and then it got sold, but they kept Kathleen on as the president. I mean, more likely that was the plan all along, but either way, she has stuck it out and has weathered the storm, has got a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It's been a lot of question marks on how well she's actually done.
Right.
So before we get, I think this is kind of a 2-part conversation. One, before we get into who we think maybe is a good successor, let's just talk briefly, Martin, on your thoughts on how well do you think she's done up until now?
Well, I'm looking at a list. I just pulled it up, a list of everything that she had, films that she's produced. So she was...
Oh, God. She's one of the most accomplished producers in the history of filmmaking.
Right. Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Solo, Star Wars Story, Rise of Skywalker. That's just in the Star Wars universe. She's also done Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Schindler's List, and Congo.
And the Indiana Jones movies.
Plus, she's also done some Indiana Jones. Yeah, like there's the Dial of Destiny.
She's produced pretty much all Spielberg stuff. So yeah. E.T.
She did the Dial of Destiny. That's the only one listed here. So the last Indiana Jones film.
Oh no, she's been all of them.
The Back to the Future trilogy, Sixth Sense, E.T., Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Gremlins, The Goonies, Poltergeist, and a couple other ones. So those are the biggest ones. So if you look at that list, she's had her hands in some pretty big hits.
Massive. No, yeah. She's huge. Yeah.
Not a lot of failure.
Which is why she got hired by George to run Lucasfilm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I know there's so much talk about her online. There's so, like, for the last, even as long as we've been doing these podcasts, people have been saying, fire her, get rid of her, we're done. And I've never understood why. Mm-hmm. It's not like she's the one who does the writing. She's not the one who tells them to get rid of Luke and put in Han Solo. And so, like, she doesn't make those kind of decisions. She just produces and makes sure the overall film is put together properly. It's marketed properly. It's sold properly. All that kind of stuff. That's her job. She's not the one that creates and writes the actual movies. So I never laid fault in her hands on any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think she's done fine. Like, but to me, whether she's in charge or not, it's not. I don't think it's hurt Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a creative line there that I don't think a lot of people may realize, because as a producer of those films, all those films you mentioned over the decades, mm-hmm. As a producer, you are thinking about the film and the script. You are trying to get the best people together. You're hiring the right director. You're making sure they're hiring the right people, that the vision. I mean, here's the thing is that in her job too, she's taking the money from the studio. So, a studio is going to hire her to produce this film. She's taking all this money, and it's on her reputation that she has to get this film done, and it has to make money. And that's a lot of pressure of producers, because, that's the thing about these, like these award ceremonies, the big highlight is the best actor and the best director. And people don't always realize, I don't think, maybe they do now, but I think in the early years ago, when they, because all the awards are individual when it comes to best director, best writer, best editor, best actor, best actress, but then there's best picture, and everybody thinks that's the best movie, which it is, but the award goes to the producer.
You're right. The producer's the one who comes and
gets it. The producer goes
yeah.
up there because they're the one responsible for getting that movie made.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't really realize it's like, you get all these individual awards. The best picture is the producer award.
Yeah.
So,
well, the directors are often up there too with them.
Well, they are, but they're not the ones getting the Oscar for it unless they were a producer on the on. But whoever it says produced by, those are the ones that are up there accepting the award for best picture. So, she arguably is, whatever. I don't think there's there's a Hollywood Walk of Fame, Hollywood Star Walk. She's already got her star, I think.
Yeah.
But she's upper echelons of producers. I mean, the woman has been in the business for 30 plus years and been a part of iconic films. Now I'd have to look back. I'm not too sure how many Oscars she's won. I don't even know if she's won any, to be honest.
I don't know.
Well, Schindler's List won Best Picture, so I'm sure she got that then. Are you looking it up? Okay, yeah.
I am while you're talking.
So I've always had deep respect for Kathleen Kennedy. Even before she went to Star Wars. So I was really excited when George hired her because I thought, okay, well, here's somebody that understands filmmaking, understands George.
Yep.
She's been working with Spielberg and George for years. So it absolutely made sense. And I agree with you. When you're running a company, so when you're a president of the company, you kind of have to remove yourself from the creative process. I mean, you can be a part of it, but as the president of a company, you have to trust that the producers you hire to make the movies, because now she's the studio, right? She's not the producer anymore. She's the actual studio.
Yes.
She's the one that she's now giving the money that she used to receive from the studios to make the film. So she's entrusting producers that she's hiring.
Yeah,
so like you said,
she puts together the team to make the movie.
Well, just mainly the producers, yes.
Yeah.
So that's where, like you said, it's like if there's flops going on, it's not entirely her fault. And it's not entirely the producer's fault either. Sometimes things just don't work, and the audiences may react differently, or they're split like they have been with some of these things like The Last Jedi. But I think even though I think she's done a good job, I definitely think she's a better producer than a president.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm assuming her stepping down doesn't mean, I mean, she may go on, maybe produce some more films, but I feel like she's kind of almost getting into retirement mode. She might not be doing much else anymore.
She's been around a long time. She's producing movies in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah, a long time.
She's been around.
Yeah, she's been 40 years in the business at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did she win any awards?
She has not won any Academy Awards. She's been nominated for 9 Academy Awards she was nominated for, but none of her movies won. Yeah.
So Schindler's List, that won Best Picture, didn't it?
But she's not on it. She's not on it as the main. All of their awards that she shared with other people shared the producing credits. So
yeah.
I just have the list of Academy Awards, and it just says nomination. Nothing won.
That's what I thought. I didn't think she won one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, again, she's one of the most accomplished producers out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're both in agreement. She's done a good job. I mean, not great, but she's done a good job. I mean, I have
no issue with her. Yeah.
Yeah, look, and it's hard because she also, even though she's the president of Lucasfilm, she has a boss. Like, she answers to the CEO of Disney because Disney owns Lucasfilm.
Yep.
So you can't do everything. You can't make the sole decisions. I mean, Bob Iger now, who was the boss when she took over, and then briefly under Bob Chapek, and then now it's Iger again. Yeah. I mean, she can't do anything without their approval. Right. So you can almost go all the way up to the top, whether or not if you want to blame anybody. But But she is running Star Wars, and I think the essence of Star Wars, because again, she knows George. She's been around George and Star Wars for all this time when she's been around, working on movies. The essence of Star Wars has still remained intact, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, it still feels like Star Wars, these things that are coming out. Again, we may not agree with the storyline or some actors and things like that, whatever, writing.
Yeah.
But it's not veered like completely off the rails where you're like, what the hell is this? Right?
Yeah.
And they didn't get crazy where they started. Again, they didn't kill it with continuity issues. I mean, there's going to be some, but like glaring continuity issues. And like when we see Tatooine, it still looks like Tatooine. It's not like it's like a whole different planet or something like that, So yeah. I think the essence of there and that's to me, that's to her credit, because she's hired people that believe in Star Wars, that love Star Wars. People like Dave Filoni, people like Jon Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, Deborah Cho. It's like you get people that are big fans of it, and you're gonna keep that spirit. And of course, all the behind the scenes people like Doug Chang and Dave Knoll, they're all still there, right? So, so now it comes to who's going to replace her. There's definitely names floating around. Mm-hmm. The three big ones that are at the top of the list. Now, of course, I feel like these are fan wish lists, not necessarily Bob Iger's possibly.
Right.
But the three names that I've seen floating at the top are Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, mm-hmm. and believe it or not, Kevin Feige.
Oh, really?
Marvel. Yes.
Like he's not busy enough with the whole new phase of Marvel.
Well, he obviously wouldn't. He'd have to give up that seat and move over.
Yeah.
Which is, to my opinion, probably highly unlikely. But I don't know. Any of those or anybody else on your list you think is possibly in the running?
The only article I saw, like after all these Kathleen Kennedy rumors came out, I saw just today actually new rumor Dave Filoni and Dave Favreau, or Jon Favreau, sorry, are looking to co-head, together do it. Be the head of Star Wars. That was the newest thing that I saw today, and I was like, that would be all right. That'd be fine.
I don't know if you can do that. I think it's hard enough to co-produce something or co-direct something. To co-run a company is you have to have one person still to kind of make the decision. Now, if one's the CEO, one's the president, I mean, you can maybe do it that way, but
yeah. I mean, I really, if they want to be in complete control of everything that's going on, you really have no one else. There is no other option. Everything those two have done has been successful. Nobody understands it better than they do. They really should be the only names in the running, I think.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
But
here's what it comes down to. Again, it comes down to running a company and producing projects. Yeah. Is Jon Favreau? Is he better suited and more skilled to run a company or to keep producing projects?
Yeah.
Because to me,
either of them takes a position, then they don't have the time to actually write and direct anymore.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Running a company is a whole other. I mean, you have to run. You run in HR issues. You're trying to market. You're trying to get more partners. You're dealing with everything besides filmmaking, right?
Right.
Filmmaking is just a part of it.
Right.
So it's running a business is different. That's why you almost need a business person. But on the flip side, Kevin Feige has been able to do it.
That's true.
Right? So Kevin Feige's running Marvel Studios, but he's also executive producing all of these films. And I think, if you look at it that way, then someone like a Jon Favreau does make sense.
Yeah.
And maybe that, so I think it really depends on depends on, again, the level of skill the person has regarding running a business. Now, the thing about it is Kevin Feige, I believe Marvel Studios, like, could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in it as much as I am with Lucasfilm, but it's like, you know, Marvel's business, his business, Marvel Studios, his business is running the movie part of it. That's it, right? Yeah. He's not, I believe, like, because they have Marvel Comics, like someone else is doing that. Someone else is doing, you know, marketing and all that stuff. Like, he has to just worry about the MCU. Kathleen Kennedy, again, isn't just worried about theatrical films. I mean, she's worried about Disney Plus. She's worried about animation, but she's also worried about the comic business, the marketing business, the licensing.
It's a lot.
It's like, it's everything of Star Wars, not just the MCU, right? So it's like, there's so much more to worry about. That's where it gets a little hard. So, but after all said and done, I do think, I think my first thought was give it to Filoni because he's like George Lucas's clone. Let's give it to somebody that is like George Lucas.
Yeah.
But I think I like him still in the chief creative officer role, overseeing the actual production, the storylines, the projects.
Yep.
So in that sense, I would probably say that Jon Favreau is probably the best candidate to run Lucasfilm.
Okay. That's a good argument. I mean, if Feige could be a good fit too, if he doesn't have to do Marvel, if they're going to replace him at Marvel and let him just focus on Star Wars, because you cannot deny that the Infinity Saga was a massive hit. Like it did something no movie Force ever did at all. So if he could take that type of energy and bring that into Star Wars, then it could be good. But does he know Star Wars as well as Favreau and Filoni? You know.
See, that's the thing, is I think, you know, not only see the thing about it is with Kathleen Kennedy, even though she's been in the business, she's been a producer.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot. That's a high level position. And she's worked with writers, I'm sure. She's worked with directors, I'm sure, but she hasn't been a director and she hasn't been a full writer. She hasn't sat in the edit room. I mean, she maybe sat in the edit room, but not as, you know, not as a creator like that. Favreau brings that level into that, right?
He's done all the roles. Yeah.
He's done that. He knows. Yeah. So with him working with Filoni and knowing they just, I think that is still the duo that you have. If they're running Lucasfilm, I think fans will be happy. I think we will get some pretty dang good content.
It's the 1-2 punch, man. That's what they need. Yep.
It is. Yep. And I think Favreau could be that Feige character, you know, the person that runs it. So,
yeah.
And I do think the worst thing they could do is completely bring in an outsider that may be a Star Wars fan, but
hasn't been involved the whole time. Yeah. No, you need to bring someone from the inside.
I would even think it's possible they could look at someone like maybe even Bryce Dallas Howard, possibly. But again, she's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So
she's found her niche.
Yeah, I would keep her there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think Favreau makes sense. I think Favreau makes sense, actually.
That's I think where we're landing on.
Wow.
Yep.
How crazy would that be, man? The guy that acted and wrote Swingers is going to run Star Wars. We'll see, though. We'll see if that's the way it goes. Who knows? I'm pretty sure it's going to be an extensive interview process for people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But it really, Lucasfilm just needs to look at where has our successes come from, who makes the best stuff.
Yeah.
We want them in charge going forward.
Yep.
All
right. Well, that's more to come on that because again, that's why I think they're saying it's going to be till the end of the year until she steps down because I think it's
end of 25.
It's going to take several months to find a replacement.
Yeah.
So wow, that's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
A new era of Star Wars is coming. Literally.
Well, in good time too, because they've got to just get everything started again. I mean, they've had some successes on Disney Plus, but not all have been a success. The movies have, 50-50 divided the fans. They gotta bring it back to where everybody loves it and everybody wants it.
Right.
And I mean, you look what's going on with the Rey movie right now. Like, how many changes is that thing going through? It's already in trouble. They got to get that ship back on track.
Right. Agreed. So. Yep. All right. Well,
yeah.
That's all we got.
Is there anything you were expecting more Andor discussion? Or is there more thoughts you had about the Andor trailer? Because it was an action-packed trailer, and it didn't give you a lot to dive into.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. It was good. We'll get more. I'm sure. But more to talk about on that at some point.
Yeah.
Again, I think there'll be more coming out around Celebration. To dive. I mean, obviously the episodes drop right after or during Celebration, so we'll see. But yeah, overall, so it was a good week of news here. Good week of news. Finally, now it might
positive
be
stuff.
For another few weeks.
Yeah.
All right, but thanks, Martin, for joining. Appreciate it,
man. Anytime.
We'll get some. We do have a council sessions it's coming out very soon. We did recently.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for it to come out.
Yep. Probably next week. I'll probably get that out. And we got some more Beyond the Sagas that me and Hannah had done. Hannah will be back next week, and then I think I'm out of town the following week, but I'll be back in time to do an episode. So. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us, for listening, for watching. Of course, if you're interested in signing up on Patreon, patreon.com/Inside the Force, and then come back here on YouTube for all our other shows. He's Cyber Ren. We're on the Mandalore podcast. That's going to be, I think we're going to do an episode or two here soon before we get back to doing the Andor series.
We're going to break down the Andor trailer as best we can, and we had a couple fan-requested episodes we're going to try to tackle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So. Nice. All right, so look out for those, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. May the Force be with you.